Good stuff. Did you watch the film?
Oh, the black phone. Oh yeah, I loved it. Just saw the black phone this year. What did we just go? Halloween Ends. Sarah, what was the other one we saw?
We saw
Oh,
Barbarian,
Barbarian and
and
Smile.
I watched all of them except for Smile. So, what do you think of Smile?
I don't. It's really good.
Okay,
It's really good.
I'll put that in.
What did you think of Barbarian?
It was pretty interesting. I've had an interesting Airbnb in Mobile, Alabama when I did the Mobile Comedy Festival there.
Oh.
And so it's haunted. It was like
Wow.
1890s. So I felt the pain and like there was a lot of paranormal activity when I was sleeping. I was like, this is no wonder it's cheap.
That's creepy. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we've talked about doing something with the Airbnb and some sort of project, but Barbarian obviously used it. So, but like, it was interesting. That's a good word. I think Smile might be. I don't know if it's better, but they're different.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And Justin Long is amazing.
Yeah.
He's actually from Connecticut.
Really?
Mhm.
That's so awesome. There's a lot of good things coming out of Connecticut. The WWE.
Yeah.
The call.
Exactly.
The callback.
Exactly the callback.
Most definitely. I saw him in House of Darkness too. So if you ever get the chance,
House of Darkness.
it's a vampire movie.
Oh, Justin Long was in that.
Oh yeah.
So definitely recommend. It's a slow burn in the beginning, but there's great storytelling.
Oh, that's what we're about. We love to slow burns,
Indeed. So take me from the beginning, and then we'll meet up at the callback. And so, how did you get involved in film, Nathaniel?
In the film, so Sarah, the writer, is actually my fiance.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. So we always bounce ideas off each other when we're writing, and gosh, this was such a process. She was starting to write it over a year before we ended up producing it.
In 2020.
In 2020, and each iteration of the script, we would, maybe I'd give her a note or whatever. She could take it or leave it. Eventually, that turned into like table reads with other actors, and essentially, Sarah wrote it, co-directed it. I co-directed it with her, and then we both kind of executive produced it. And it's so cool to take it from an idea on a piece of paper to we crowdfunded for it, and we had never done that before. We were like, we had done a couple short films before, but like out of our own pocket, and this one was a little ambitious in terms of I don't want to pay that. So we were like, let's crowdfund, like, but we was like jumped into the deep end, and that we ended up raising a good like $35,000 or something, and that in itself was such a undertaking to do, and it was, I don't know if I'd want to do it again, but it was really epic, and we met so many great people doing that, and it took us, so it's like pre-production, then the production process itself, that was a blur, and then we edited it, and I mean, so many great people from all around the world actually collaborated on it. So.
Wow, that's gonna be a lot of names in the end credits.
Yeah, and I mean, it's cool that you can do things remotely. Like our composer is out of LA, but we're East Coast, Connecticut, but we just sent her some files and, hopped on Zoom meetings with her to kind of give direction and stuff, and she killed it. It was awesome.
Awesome. Speaking of scores, what's your favorite score from any movie, whether it's horror or comedy?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. Well, I'll say this, horror-wise, and it served as an inspiration for the score of this film, was The Shining. And when you see it, hopefully tomorrow, you might hear it. You might hear, it's kind of like The Shining, like inspired by it.
Are you talking about the Stanley Kubrick one or the Mick Garris one?
The Kubrick.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep. They're both fantastic in their own ways. So.
Well, I haven't seen the remake one.
Was that the miniseries?
The miniseries.
It
Yeah.
followed the book way more than the movie did, which is
I'm sure Stephen
King
was probably happy about.
Indeed. Yep. Mick Garris and Stephen King make a great duo. So.
I'm from Maine originally, so Stephen King territory.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to his place?
Yeah, our director of photography, Ben, my brother, he lived half a mile away from him, so
Wow.
we would walk in front of his house. And have you ever seen the photos of his house?
I have, and I think he has a place in South Florida too. So.
I mean, the guy's probably, he's doing really well. So. But it's really cool. He's got like these ironclad gates with cobwebs for the gate. It's very Stephen King.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. One day I'll make it up there because I love, even if like movies that weren't horror films, like Stand By Me was like a favorite of mine.
Yeah, I mean he's versatile, extremely versatile writer, and he can have a lot of like humor and things too. So.
Indeed. Oh, Steph. Man, I can't wait to see the callback. And what was like the whole casting like, the whole everything about it?
Yeah, so when Sarah was writing it, she's the lead in it. I'm a supporting character in it. So we kind of envisioned those roles already being cast to us. But then we had done some our acting training in New Haven, Connecticut, at a school there, and we had a couple other students that we had come up with we were thinking of for certain roles, particularly the role of Dante, the main antagonist, who I think he steals the show. So that one was premeditated, those three choices, but then there was a couple others that we had to audition for, and one of our managers had a roster of talent, and she's like, hey, she saw like what we were doing with the crowdfunding, and she's like, this is really cool. I gotta get some actors to audition for this. So we kind of had an open call, and people would send in their self-tape auditions, and we, we're like, oh, we like them, but, it doesn't quite fit, and we narrowed it down through the casting choices, and then, ironically, we had some callbacks for the callback, and not like the movie, though. And that's how it happened. That's kind of how we filled those other roles.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, I can't. Are there a lot of like death scenes that are gory or anything?
The way we did it, we wanted it to have more impact. So it's, I don't want to give too much away, but there's one very impactful scene that does have some gore.
Awesome.
But it's not like all over. It's more psychological. But then there is one kind of payoff situation.
Indeed. So kind of like the Alfred Hitchcock approach.
A little bit. We really utilize suspension,
Awesome.
like Hitchcock. That's one thing. And it's 26 minutes, but to build characters that you want, that the audience might want to be like care about what happens to in that short amount of time is I think it's a cool exercise. So.
How long did it take you to make the short film?
Like production-wise,
Yep.
we did it. It's crazy. We did it in 5 days.
Wow.
And I mean, it was heavy, like heavy days, like 14-hour days. And it was just, I've acted in, done a ton of different projects before as an actor, but when you're building it from the ground up and, everything about the film, you kind of have to know about the scheduling and who's here when and all that. I mean, it's a different ball game when you're producing and directing, so.
Indeed, most definitely. And I've been in there before. I did a 24-hour film festival. Yep. And so we have a short film out on my YouTube, which is like 8 minutes long.
Okay.
Yep. So we had like we finished it in 12 hours, 3 hours of sleep, and
Oh.
so $25. None of it went to the movie, and it's won the award for best film to watch while stoned. So if you ever get the chance, I'll send you the link as soon as
Yeah.
all that good stuff. But yeah, I think I ran out of room on this thing, so
Oh.
indeed. So it's not too shabby, but the audio picked up on that one, I hope. So
Yeah.
good stuff. And the battery's almost dead too.
No worries.
Indeed. But I'll definitely have some more my next batteries. I'll charge this one.
Well, we're here all weekend. I mean, I don't know how often are you going to be conducting the interviews?
From 11 to 1. And
Like
so
every day, or?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
if you want, we can do Ben's tomorrow before the movie.
Well, Ben, if you want to do it, I don't want to speak for you.
I mean, I don't really want to.
Ben, he's behind the camera.
Indeed.
He's a director of photography. So.
Same here. So that's why I'm not on the screen. I'm focusing on the talent. So, indeed. So other than that, I guess I don't know where we're at on this one, but since the battery's almost dead,
Yeah, no
we're
worries.
up. But is there anything that you'd like to plug?
Well, the Callback Film is at the Callback Film on all social media platforms. We're in the festival circuit now, but we might be on streaming eventually. And I know you conducted the interview with Sarah earlier. She's developing a potential feature version of it, which is like our vision. So
Fantastic.
keep an eye out for that.
I hope the very best for the both for everyone involved, and I
Well,
can't wait
thank
to see the callback tomorrow at from 1 to 2:30. Well, the last film, 26 minutes. If you're since there's audience members here, definitely go see the callback tomorrow night.
For sure.
Awesome.